Hi there, I'm Story, User Story. Join me as you learn what I am made of. Did you see the story of a user story? It's about my journey from creation to fulfilling the expectation of my users. If not, stop here, check it out. See you soon. Looks like you are good to go. Welcome back. As you learn what I am made of, I will show you how my pieces come together, how I am defined, what are my attributes, what type of user stories am I, and so on. Let's go. I am made up of attributes, such as a title, a description, acceptance criteria, value, size, notes, comments, attachments, and desire too. I am a representation from the perspective of the person who desires my capability, usually a customer or a user, sometimes represented as a persona. This is who receives value from my presence. Here's Juanita. She is a persona representing providers of social services. She is a healthcare worker and has 2 elementary-aged school children. She commits about 10 hours each week taking care of her elderly parents, who are recipients of social services. My title is short and obvious. People should know who I am from my title. I like to make it big and visible. My description is written with the simple statement, as a who, type of customer or user. This is my persona. I desire what? What does this persona want? It is specific and only one request. So that why? Why is this a value that I am providing? No ands or buts here. I have acceptance criteria. They are the requirements that must be met. The acceptance criteria are incredibly important because they spell out what is expected of me and what is needed to get me to done. Now let's take a look at my value, desire, and size. Together, these assist Mrs. Moneypenny to order rank me, along with other user stories in the product backlog. What is my value to the customer or user that will benefit from me? Do I provide some value? Add a single $sign. Do I have a lot of value? Add multiple $signs. Mrs. Moneypenny will use my value for ordering me in the product backlog. Should I be built now, later, or much later? Look at me. I have a lot of value. $3, woohoo! Now I get a desire. Mrs. Moneypenny is using Moscow to determine if I am a must-have, should have, could have, or would like. She also uses this attribute for ordering me in the product backlog. Mrs. Moneypenny has decided I am a would like. This is something she would like to try that may make a real difference for the persona of Juanita. There is a third attribute that Mrs. Moneypenny uses for ordering me in the product backlog. This attribute is my size. The Scrum team developers review my title, description, and acceptance criteria to determine my size. This determination is made using a relative size. Am I bigger, smaller, or about the same to other user stories that are already sized in the product backlog? The Scrum team developers use an estimating technique where they all show their size at the same time. They are using t-shirt sizes as a representation for the size of the user story, where a small t-shirt is bigger than an extra small, a medium is bigger than a small, and so on. Differences are discussed as they figure out how I will be built. They work towards consensus and provide the size. I'm a medium t-shirt. There are other attributes too. These keep the team collaborating while providing visibility and transparency. Mrs. Moneypenny and the Scrum team developers may add notes, attachments, images, or a running commentary. I'm feeling pretty fulfilled. As an item in the product backlog, what type of item am I? What is my identity? Am I a feature, a business user story, an action item, a Kaizen, technical work, a defect, knowledge acquisition, or a spike? I am a feature. I describe a large piece of functionality and am often too big to be built in a sprint. I am written using a given, when, then language that fulfills a specific scenario providing customer value. I expect to be refined into smaller business user stories. Wow, business user stories. What a valuable product backlog item. Business user stories are often born from a feature user story. These are smaller user stories that may be built in a short period of time. I like to be independent, allowing my persona to receive incremental value quickly. Action item. I like the way that sounds. Ready, set, action. As an action item, I describe a small amount of work. A good practice is to start with a verb. I typically help the Scrum team towards achieving the sprint goal. What about a Kaizen? I get to focus on continuous improvement for the Scrum team. The team is excited to have me as they try new ideas to make positive change on a regular basis. They are improving their productivity and becoming a fulfilled team. My Scrum team developers have some technical work, such as upgrades, maintaining the environment, and handling technical debt. They are using the given, when, then language. This allows the Scrum team to have visibility into my value. There might be a defect, such as a missing message displayed to the user. As a defect, I describe the solution for the impacted customers or users. My acceptance criteria are the corrections. Notes, attachments, and images are helpful. I might be knowledge acquisition. This makes me feel smart, like being in school and learning many subjects. My Scrum team desires to be a self-managing and cross-functional team, learning from each other about the functional business aspects of the product and the technical attributes too. Another type is a spike. No, not a railroad, volleyball, or dog name spike. This is research activity that helps the Scrum team developers obtain new knowledge. This is an investment by the product owner for the Scrum team to learn, with intent of gaining future value quickly. An important concept is that I am written by the experts. I thrive when there is a high level of collaboration. Mrs. Moneypenny, her friends, the rest of the Scrum team, and stakeholders too. When they work together, all my various types are discussed, providing real value for real customers and users. Mrs. Moneypenny is responsible for me. She appreciates all the experts contributing. This allows her to make visible and transparent valuable decisions about what I am made of. Look at them go! When am I written? Wow, there are so many options. When the experts are together, they often have ideation sessions. These sessions are when participants have been invited to focus on a specific, important task or purpose. Mrs. Moneypenny hosts a product backlog refinement session several times a week. This is where many of my attributes are added. I am often sized and ordered during the session. Sometimes I get split into many user stories. I am feeling fulfilled. I have all my attributes and I know my type. I am now ready for the Scrum team developers to pull me into the sprint backlog. I can now be built. During the sprint planning event, the Scrum team has conversations, negotiation style, to ensure I am ready to be pulled into the sprint backlog. Sometimes new ideas are discovered, and I am created during this event. While the Scrum team is working on me to produce an increment during the sprint, I can be updated during the sprint with notes, attachments, etc. When the increment is shared with stakeholders at the sprint review event, we encourage new ideas. Stakeholders have lots of ideas. I have noticed when they view the built increment, they get energized for additional incremental value. I get excited. It is like getting a new life in a video game. It is time for the Sprint Retrospective event. This is an opportunity for the Scrum team to identify the most helpful changes to improve their effectiveness. I am often an action item or a Kaizen. This gives me tingles.
Oh.
Next up, check out User Stories examples. You can watch me get refined with simulated scenarios. See you there.